Hello, welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. And being that it is New Year's Day, uh, I actually did not want to do New Year's Day about what I'm talking about today, but it kind of like sometimes the events in the world kind of foist themselves upon you. And, uh, and so you kind of feel a responsibility to talk about things that are happening in the world. I've done that many times, and it's been a pretty messy, violent holiday season. There's been several attacks and terrorist attacks. We had, um, of course, the one in Germany was kind of the first one where there were 5 people killed, and a guy who supposedly claimed to be a Islamophobe. He claimed to be an ex-Muslim, claimed to be an Islamophobe, but in reality, he wasn't. I mean, there's a guy named Tusi. He does a live stream, and he said something that I felt probably best summarizes what happened in Germany. Because in the media and in the government, they're all saying this guy was an Islamophobe. But in reality, if he was an Islamophobe, why did he go after Christians? Why did he go after a Christian uh, event and to kill Christians? Because that's what he did. And he drove his car into the Christmas market and killed 5 people, injured around 200. It was unbelievable. Injured around 200. Like, how far did that guy go, to be able to do that? And then this morning we all woke up to what happened in Louisiana, in New Orleans. In New Orleans, there was the guy that drove his car into the people that were partying there on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and um, and then simultaneously or just shortly thereafter, there was an explosion in front of the Trump Hotel, an explosion in front of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. And they all seem to be like, it almost seems like they're all interconnected because there's so many similarities. There's so many similarities between these attacks, and it's very interesting. The one in Germany, the one in New Orleans, and the one in Las Vegas. There's a lot of similarities between these, and they all happened around the holiday season. One of them during Christmas, and 2 of them on New Year's. And so I just want to look at a couple things. Like I said here, rental cars, Bollards, and Jihad. And so one thing that all of these events, the 3 events, and this is, by the way, this is the guy who did the New Orleans attack. Here's another picture of him. His name is Shamsud Din Jabbar. Nice looking guy. I mean, sad to see him having taken this. I mean, you don't look at him and think, oh, wow, this guy is so evil and, murderous and everything. And this video right here is a video where he was talking about his real estate business. And so he had been married once, I believe, already, and had been divorced. And he's on his second divorce. He has 2 kids. I think one is 1 and one is 17 or something like that. And both of his marriages ended in divorce, and he has lots of financial problems. So that's something that they're saying about this guy. He had a lot of personal problems, financial problems, and uh, there was some demonic stuff going on with this guy too. We'll talk a little bit about that in a while. And then this is the guy that did the Germany attack. His name was Talib Abdul. Shoot, I forgot. Abdul. Shoot, I forgot his last name. But they were just calling him Talib A, because in Germany you're not supposed to say the last name. They have privacy laws there. But this guy was actually claimed to be an ex-Muslim from Saudi Arabia, psychologist in Germany, and he he just went off the rocker one day and decided to drive into a Christmas market in Germany, killing 5 people, injuring 200. Now, about the third guy. Okay, here's another picture of Shamshun. Okay, this is another excuse me. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. This is another picture of that Shamsud Dean. You can just see there, he looks like he was becoming very religious there. Okay, you compare that kind of with his picture here, where he's kind of like talking about his real estate business. And then you see this right here, and you just kind of see a development, progression. And he seems to be a little bit more, I don't know, feels a little bit darker. Look at his eyes and stuff like that. And the beard, the beard. Okay, here you do have a kind of a goatee here, and seems like a friendly guy. But by the time you get here, you got the beard, and that beard just kind of, I don't know, just kind of gives you a little bit of the weebie jeebies, I mean, just a little uncomfortable there. And he was a Democrat. He gave money to the Democratic Party. Act Blue, that's a Democratic Party fundraising arm. And okay, so he's 42 years old. And here's another picture of him. Okay, see, it just seems like a nice looking guy. Doesn't seem, when you look at this, you don't think, oh, this guy looks dangerous or something. It doesn't seem like it, Now here, this one does a little bit. Okay. This one I don't think does, and this one I don't think does, but I mean, he's got a little bit of a smile there. And but something happened to him, and his life situation wasn't going really good. He had 2 divorces, was in the middle, I think, of another divorce now. He had 2 kids, probably estranged from his kids, and he's living in a trailer park. Let me see if we got the picture of the trailer park. No, I don't have a picture of the trailer park, but in the back of the trailer park, he had goats and sheep, and I don't know if that's a red flag, when someone has goats and sheep in their backyard. And you wonder, why do you got goats and sheep? Maybe to sacrifice, maybe to eat, maybe to raise them and then to eat. I don't know. But he had those in his backyard. They took pictures of it. And but he had a lot of stress, a lot of problems, family problems and everything. But but that doesn't, everybody's got problems. And lots of people get divorced. Half of the marriages in America end in divorce. And so it's not like, having this kind of stress necessarily leads someone to do these things that he did. And there's obviously other things going on there too. So let's just look at a few of the things. Now, this picture right here, this one looks scary. Now, this one looks scary. Okay, now he's, look at the eyes there. Kind of see the anger. See the beard. Looks a little bit scarier. He looks angry. And so you can definitely see a change in him over time from this. Okay, and this is kind of like slowly getting worse and worse. And this, and then this. And so you kind of see a progression there. He's so anyway. So let's just look a little bit about this guy. His name is shoot. Let me see how to say his name here. Shamsud. Okay, Shamsud. Okay, so this is a Facebook page. I don't think it's really him, but there is a video on the on this page where he talks about his real estate business and how he's going to fight for you. He talks about how he is a veteran of, I think, he went to Afghanistan. He was in the army, went to Afghanistan, was in the army for about a year. Then he was discharged. I haven't read if it was an honorable or dishonorable discharge. He also joined the Navy for a while, but it only lasted for about a month or even a few weeks, and then he was discharged. So I don't know if there was some issues there. I don't know if there's some, those are a couple of red flags. I don't know. But obviously something was going on. And let's just look at some of these things here about him. This says, okay, now this is where it is weird. It is very weird what happened to him. And I don't know if I kind of want to read this one last, but let's go ahead and do the other ones first before we come to this one. Okay, one thing that that the two events, the event in Germany, the Christmas event, the Christmas attack, and the ramming attack, and the New Orleans attack had in common is what's called bollards. Now, this is what a bollard is. Let me show you what a bollard. This is bollards, okay? Now, they put these like at the entrances, like if you go to Disneyland, if you go to some, they always have these to keep people from driving in, so that you know that you're not supposed to drive in. They're close enough together to where a car cannot pass through them. And they had them in Germany, but they weren't close enough together. And they allowed this guy, Talib, to actually find his way in. And so, those are some of the protections that they take, some of the security measures that they take to protect people, is to put these bollards up. But they were a little bit sloppy with it in Germany, to where this guy right here was able to get into the Christmas fair and hit those people. Again, 5 people died, but over 200 were injured. So he drove for a long time before he was stopped. And whereas with this guy, Shamsud, he didn't get as far in and didn't injure as many people, but he killed a lot more. So far, 15 are dead, and about 30, around 30 to 35 have been injured. And they're saying the number of the dead may still increase because they were very badly injured. Um, so he had way more fatalities, but fewer injuries, okay, compared to Talib. There's one thing that was in common. The Bollards, okay. Now, here's another thing about the Bollards. Let's look at this right here. In Germany, and I don't know if you guys were listening, but Robert Spencer was talking about this, and this is from his website, Jihad Watch. He was saying that there was a security company in Germany to protect the Christmas fair. The name of the security company was Mecca Security. They were hired to protect the Magdeburg Christmas market. Okay. And there were at different times 2 security guards, sometimes 4 security guards, and there's thousands of people at these things. So 2 security guards, 4 security guards. When the attack happened, there were apparently 6 security guards, but 6 security guards to guard thousands of people at that fair. Okay. And it's from a company called Mecca Security. So if you want to read about that, Robert Spencer has an article about it. It's kind of tongue in cheek, but it's real. And anyway, but apparently they left a 6-meter gap between the traffic barriers. Now, again, this is the traffic barriers right here. They left a 6-meter gap between them. Okay. And so that 6-meter gap was enough for this Talib A to drive his car in and do all the damage that he did. Okay. So it's a very terrible attack. And their security company, Mecca Security, didn't do a lot to protect people. Supposedly when you have these bollards, for instance, and if they need to let somebody in, for instance, an emergency vehicle, like an ambulance or something like that, there is ways for the security guards to open up the way so that like an ambulance or a fire truck or can get in if they need it. But these guys, they just had a 6-foot gap, a 6-meter gap. 6 meters is much wider than 6 feet in between these bollards. And so this guy was able to get through and do the dastardly demonic work that he did. Okay. And let's see here. This is about the bollards. Well, first, let's see this one. Mecca Security was supposed to secure the Magdeburg Christmas market. Depending on the day of the week and the time, 2 to 6 security guards were responsible for securing the entire market. The gap between the 2 concrete bollards enabled Talib Abdul Muhsin to kill several people at the Magdeburg Christmas market. After the attack on the Magdeburg Christmas market, new details about the Christmas market security concept have come to light. According to this, the company, Mecca Security, was responsible for securing the Christmas market with mobile patrols, as Bild reports. Bild is a German newspaper. Depending on the day of the week and the time, a different number of employees were scheduled. From Sunday to Thursday, only 2 security guards were hired, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., and 4 security guards from 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the time of the attack. On Friday, 7 p.m., at least 6 Mecca security guards were scheduled. These 6 employees were supposed to secure the entire Christmas market with thousands of visitors and would have been responsible for guarding escape routes. So they didn't do a very good job, and they left a wide gap for Mr. Abdel Muhsin to get in. Okay, now this is about the New Orleans situation. The Texas man who rammed into crowds in New Orleans in the early hours of New Year's Day drove onto a sidewalk and around a patrol car that had been parked to block road access to Bourbon Street. Officials confirmed during a news conference on Wednesday afternoon that the security bollards designed to prevent vehicles from hitting pedestrians were not in place at the site because they were being replaced as part of the city's preparations to host the Super Bowl next month. So the bollards, these guys right here, were not there. The bollards were not there. So if they were there, they may have been able to prevent what happened. And if you've seen the video, of this guy when he's driving his car in, it looks like it almost looks like he looks and sees that there's no bollards, that there are none of these traffic stops there, and then he just zooms in and he starts, he's like the police chief said, he was hell bent on killing people, and he did 15 so far. And this is the picture here. I believe this is him because he got out of his car afterwards and started shooting at police. And after he killed all those people, he started shooting at police and was killed. So he's in hell now. And no 72 virgins, go straight to hell. No 72 virgins. And here, until new bollards could be installed, parked police cars and other barriers, as well as patrolling officers, were being used as safeguards. We did have a car there. We had barriers there. We had officers there, and they still got around, Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick said. She added, "We did indeed have a plan, but the terrorists defeated it." Dang. Terrible thing to say. Terrible thing to say. All right, so those are one of the things that these attacks had in common. This is specifically between the New Orleans attack and the Germany attack. Now, this next thing is relevant to all three attacks. All three attacks used rental cars. All three attacks used rental cars. That's something you don't really think about, but I wonder if that's one of the instructions that ISIS gives, that they give instructions for people to rent cars to do these attacks. I'm not sure why, but all three of them, the one in Germany, the one in New Orleans, and the one in Las Vegas, were all rental cars. They rented them from people. And here, let's look at this here. About the one in Germany, Rainer Hasselhoff, who was en route to Magdeburg, said, "As things stand, he is a lone perpetrator. So far as we know, there is no further danger to the city." The Guardian, as a newspaper report, citing a security source, revealed that the suspect had rented the car shortly before the attack and had no Islamist ties. Right, like I trust what your government says there in Germany. A witness told the Zeitung, another newspaper, that the attacker driven deliberately into the section of the Christmas market decked out with scenes from fairy tales, an area crowded with families and children. She described narrowly escaping with her child by throwing themselves out of the vehicle's path. So, this guy, but the main thing here is the suspect had rented the car shortly before the attack. So very interesting. And now the New Orleans and Las Vegas attacks also also were rented cars. Here you see the trucks, and they're both trucks, in the New Orleans attack and the Las Vegas explosion were rented using the same app. Renters of both vehicles had used Turo, a peer to peer app. Officials are investigating possible connections between the two cases. So this is an app. It's kind of like you have it on your phone, and it's very much like Airbnb. Where with Airbnb you can rent like a room in somebody's house or rent somebody's house through this app, and it's a directly between you and the renter. It's direct person to person rental service. And so, but this is like renting a car, but you don't rent it from like a rental car place like Hertz or Alamo or Budget or something like that. You rent it from people. And this is very popular. The guy who leads it, founded, is a guy named Haddad, which is an Arabic name, Lebanese. And, but it's very popular. And this month, I guess 150,000 people use the service. Very popular. I have a friend that uses it. They rent, instead of owning a car, he just rents a car. And so these guys both in New Orleans and in Las Vegas used this Turo app to rent their cars. And Elon Musk commented on it too. It says Elon Musk alleges possible link between the Cybertruck explosion and the New Orleans attack. Now, the Cybertruck explosion was in Las Vegas. Elon Musk alleged a connection between the explosion of a Cybertruck outside Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas and the similar attack in New Orleans. So I guess, they are alleging that there is a connection here, and the fact that they both used that same rental service to rent a car. So, and I'll tell you guys, one thing I'm waiting for is I'm waiting to hear the name of the person who did the Las Vegas attack. We know who did the Germany attack, and that guy is alive. He was arrested. He's probably going to get, judging by Germany's paranoid political correctness, probably he's going to get a very light sentence. Germany, I just don't trust Europe's justice system. But this guy is dead. This guy was killed. He started shooting at cops and was killed. But this guy, he is alive and was arrested. So demonic, used by Satan, possessed, but he survived. Okay, he did not get killed. Okay, so these are the connections. Okay, you have the Bollards, which was a factor in Germany and in New Orleans, and you have the rental cars, which were a factor in Germany, New Orleans, and Las Vegas. Okay, and then the jihadi element. And I just want to say about this guy, about this guy in Germany. They're trying to say he wasn't. This wasn't an Islamist terrorist attack, but again, like what El Tusi said, he said you can tell the motive by the target. You can tell the motive by the target. So I don't care what he said on his Skype. I don't care what he said on Twitter. I don't care what he said. What was his target? His target was a Christian event, which kind of tells you what his motive was. His motive wasn't his anger at Saudi Arabia. His anger was not against Islamism. His anger was against Jesus Christ, against Christians. And you can tell the motive by the target. Okay. And so that was the target. So, all right. Well, we're still waiting to hear. And let me just go look, because I don't know. Maybe by now they have identified the person in the um, Las Vegas attack. Okay, so Tesla site explosion at Trump investigates a potential terror act. The vehicle was rented with the same app as the New Orleans. Okay, and no, we still don't know the name of the person who did that attack. And so we're still waiting to hear that. I was kind of hoping that I was going to have the name before this live stream, but it didn't happen. So the police said that there was a name that was leaked online, that they're not confirming it yet, though. And they want to make sure that they notify the first of kin and all this before they release the name of the suspect. And what's kind of weird is, they're trying to say, if you look at the news media, because they're always trying to cover up stuff like this, they're saying, oh, it looks like a car caught on fire in front of Trump. It looks like a car caught on fire. And but it's, we could actually show you the video. It's quite obvious a car did not just catch on fire. But here is the video. You can see the car exploding there. Okay, I mean the car. It's one of those Tesla trucks. Okay, and just all of a sudden, explosion. And then when you look on the back of it, in the back of this truck, you can see that it had gas cans, camp fuel, and firecrackers, and fireworks. And I mean, this was intended to blow up. So, you guys, one thing that they're not saying in the news yet, I haven't heard anybody say it. I haven't heard anybody saying it. But okay. Okay. Mint is saying it, which is this was a suicide attack. This was a suicide bomb. And Mint is calling this a suicide bomb. That's what this was. This was a suicide bomb, just like they have in Tel Aviv. How long has it been since there been a suicide bomb in America? Has there ever been a suicide bombing in America besides 9/11? But here, Mint, this is what I was looking for, to see if anybody was going to call it that, a suicide bomb, because that's what it was. This was no accident. And some of the, CNN types and everything, they're trying to say, oh, it's like, like what a coincidence that, it happens at the same time, as this bombing in New Orleans. And, but even the police said, it's really hard to try to say this was a coincidence or an accident. It says you have a Tesla car in front of Trump Hotel a few hours after a terrorist attack in New Orleans. Okay. And the car blows up in front of a Trump hotel. And there's that connection between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. As it's pretty hard to concoct a theory that this was a coincidence or an accident. This was intentional. It was a suicide bombing. And I think they're beginning now to admit this, this is, it's more than a coincidence, even our president, Joe Biden, says that the potential link between the New Orleans and Las Vegas attack is under probe. Okay, so Joe Biden's on top of it. He's got everything covered for us, so we don't need to worry at all. Okay. So, okay. All right, you guys. Well, that's kind of what I want to say. And I just want to say a couple of things about the guy, the New Orleans attacker. Let me just say some of the stuff that it's going to say about him. The Shamshud. Um, okay, here's a picture. He had a new image showing FBI agents in New Orleans photographing an ISIS flag displayed on his truck during the terrorist attack. So he had the ISIS flag on his truck. Okay. This is him after he was killed. Okay. Says Chris Paulson, a retired Air Force veteran who was friends with Shamsud Din Bahar Jabbar, the suspect in the New Orleans attack in middle school and high school in Texas, said Jabbar wasn't a troublemaker at all. He had good grades, was always well dressed in button-ups, and polo shirts. Okay. Paulson said they reconnected on Facebook around 2017 when Jabbar got out of the military, and he noticed a dramatic change. He was never threatening any violence, but you could see that he had gotten really passionate about his faith. Okay, so he became really, you know what? When he got out of I wonder if he went over there to Afghanistan and got Islamicized, you know? Did he go to Afghanistan and become radicalized over there? Because it's when he came back that his friend noticed this difference in him. So just asking, okay. Here's okay, we showed this one already. Let's look at this one. Okay, we saw that one. Here, he had been arrested a couple times for DWI in Missouri. Okay, he had been arrested for driving, like being under the influence of drugs. Okay, so he was arrested in 2020. He's also been arrested for like shoplifting, just minor misdemeanor type stuff. Okay. Okay. Now this is his brother, Abdul Jabbar, who's 24 years old, also of Beaumont, Texas, obviously. He said he was the brother of the man identified as the New Orleans attacker, whom he described as a sweetheart, really, a nice guy, a friend, really smart, caring. He said his brother converted to Islam at a young age, Jabbar said, but what he did does not represent Islam. This is more some type of radicalization, not religion. Okay. All right. All right. Now here is some, these are some of his work. This is like his work history. Okay. He was from 2022 in business development at Deloitte. That's a big company. Deloitte is also called Deloitte Touche. I mean, there were Deloitte Touche, or maybe this is just one part of it, but I believe it's in financing and computer software type stuff. Cloud data architect. Wow, that's pretty big. From 2021 to 2022, he was a data engineer. Okay. And then he was at Blue Meadows Properties. This is probably when he became a real estate agent, residential property, from 2017 to 2022. So he was doing that and Deloitte at the same time. And Blue Meadows Properties, cloud transformation, an advisor at EY. I'm not sure exactly what EY is. He says he's a cloud architect and team leader. Okay, then also EY, he was cloud governance analyst, probably some computer type stuff. And then he was in the United States Army Reserve from 2015 to 2020, 5 years in the Army Reserve. Wow. So there you have it. That's kind of his work history. Okay. Let's see. 90. Let's see. Okay. rental cars, Bollards. Okay, let me see. The very last thing I want to show, I guess, is this. This is where it gets weird. This is where it gets weird. Okay, it says in the recordings, he made several recordings. Maybe he was on his way when he was driving. And he talks about references to his divorce and how he planned to gather his family for a celebration with the intention of killing them. Two officials who had been briefed on the material in the recording said. The suspect also talked about how he changed his plans and how he joined ISIS instead. He said that he had several dreams that he had about why he should be joining ISIS. And you can guess where those dreams came from Satan. And so that's where it got really weird. Okay. So he made a long trek, from all the stuff that he did as a kid. He was apparently born and raised in the U.S., but there was a demonic thing going on there. And he didn't have spiritual protection because he didn't give his life to Jesus. And so he was a devout Muslim, member of ISIS, and he just followed the path where Satan led him. So, all right, you guys. Well, I just want to do a little thing about that, about these two attacks today. And like I said, we're still waiting to hear the name. We want to hear the name of the suspect in the Trump hotel attack. Okay. And as soon as that comes out, I'll be watching. And let me just look one more time here at our main sources, the New York Post. Okay, nothing there. But interesting, at the New York Post, it says, inside terrorist Shamsuddin Jabbar's squalid home where sheep and goats roam in his backyard after his financial ruin. Okay, first photo released. New Orleans terrorist brother blames radicalization, not religion, for the attack that left 15 people dead. Okay. It's just interesting that you don't see Buddhists doing stuff like this. You don't see Hindus doing stuff like this. Who do you always see doing stuff like this? Explosion. Okay. All right, but we still don't have a name for the Las Vegas attacker. So, all right, we'll go ahead and call it a night then for this. And then God bless you guys who may watch this later. I don't think I had anybody with me today, but maybe later on someone might watch this. And if you haven't done it, Jesus help me. Jesus forgive me. Jesus come into my heart. Jesus help me. Jesus forgive me. Jesus come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. Thank you and God bless you.